Perfect. Thank you, Charles. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Robert. I am one of the technical support reps here at Paladin, mainly focused on credit cards. I'm actually one of the SIGIS admins here. So anyone that has SIGIS-related type questions, problems, or things, it usually hits my desk, and we kind of do what we can to get you guys going. So today's webinar is going to be SIGIS, kind of everything that encompasses SIGIS. So I guess we'll get it started, and then if there's any questions, we can answer those at the end. There we go. Okay, so the agenda today is I'd actually like to kind of how we go over the starting process for SIGIS, kind of an idea of how you sign up and renew, because you'll want to renew about every year. You'll get messages or emails at about the 10-month mark for your renewal every year. Now, for the third-party services, that would be us here at Paladin. So we facilitate that certification to allow you to start the Flex eligible product list. Now, there's also a 100% IIAS SIGIS approval process. Then it gets sent off to Vantiv for their side of things, where they send it off to MasterCard and Visa for that. And then we go into Paladin and we actually automate the entire process for the EPL or the eligible product list. So that's kind of what we're going to go over today. That would be the goal. So let's jump right into it. So anyone who's ever been to the sigis.org website, that's sig-is.org, has kind of seen the member login. So you'll be given credentials. It may start off with, I believe it's FTP and then some type of pharmacy name. It may even be an email you've had for a while for your pharmacy. They'll also give you a password. So essentially what happens is we log in and we get a TPS form. So there's lots of different questions that pertain to your pharmacy specifically, such as merchant ID, anything that you would need to register for something. Address, merchant ID, your DBA, so any doing business as type stuff, basically anything that you would need there. Once we get that all filled out, it goes to someone like myself. We go through, we double and triple check all the information, make sure it's good to go, we approve it. Now, once it gets approved, it's then sent off to Vantiv, and it's a desk over there. There's a wonderful team over there at Vantiv that does that. So what they do is then they go through that information, they make sure all the merchant ID information is correct, and they double and triple check everything I double triple checked. So then it goes from their desk to Visa and MasterCard to get, Charles, is it the
MVV and MCID?
That's right, the MVV and the MCID. So it's Visa and MasterCard, kind of like back-end numbers. So when you have the Visa and MasterCard logo on the bottom of your card, that's kind of all that big giant circle. That's kind of how all that encompasses. So once Visa and MasterCard have approved it, you'll end up receiving an email that says, hey, you can now process Flex or HSA cards with the Visa and MasterCard logos. So it's a little bit of a process. The entire thing from the time we fill out the form with you guys to the time Visa and MasterCard fully do it is about 3 weeks, give or take. It used to be double that. So we've come leaps and bounds in actually speeding up that entire process, which is really nice. So when you get onto the website, after you log in with your credentials, on the right-hand side, you'll see the certifications and 90% registrations box. Then once you click here, Charles, can I
down here to the
start menu?
Oh,
Almost want to go out of this.
just hit escape then.
Yeah, almost kind of want to show these guys what it's looking like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and log into mine. Super top secret information. But mine is like our side of things. But you'll see the box over here, the certifications 90% registration forms. So you'll click here, the little here box, and you'll be presented with something similar to this, but up here instead of my side of things, you'll see add a TPS form or new TPS form. So you'll click that, and what it'll do is it will bring you to something. Actually, I'm going to bring up a quick pharmacy just so I can kind of show them real quick. Let's do that. So you'll essentially have something that looks like this. Now we have a knowledge base article. It's been written, rewritten, and rewritten 1,000 times to make sure it's as up to date as possible for you guys, because we would prefer to give you the exact answers you need than play 20 questions. So if we can tell you click in-house retailer, storing truncated cards, stuff like that, it makes your life easier, because the faster we do this, the faster you guys can get back to making money. So that's kind of what your thing will look like. Now, when it comes to my end of things, I will also have a approve button down at the bottom, and that's kind of how that F5. There we go. I'll have an approval button, and then as soon as I hit approve, it gets shot off to Vantiv, and that's kind of when the 2 to 3 week process starts, because it's got to hit their desk and then be their MasterCard. But usually once we get the phone call here at Paladin, we can probably get you in and out, hopefully with an appointment, I would say within 20, 30 minutes of starting the actual TPS form. So we try and make the process as speedy as possible. So here on the screen, I'm pretty sure the knowledge base article number is the same, but you can just search the knowledge base article for SIGIS and it should pop up. But as you can see here on the left-hand side, this is basically the fields you'll be filling out. And to the right-hand side is literally the answers. So like I said, we try and make it as simplified as possible. That way, even if you get the new guy or the veteran in the field, or someone at the pharmacy who's facilitating this for you, because you're up front making money, we try and make the entire process easy here at Paladin. So moving forward here, you'll kind of see here a screenshot of Alma, who I believe I pulled up earlier. So basically, it's as simple as possible. It's straightforward information: your email, first and last name, your address, and then as you can see down here, the MCC field, the 5912. All of that is literally in the knowledge base, or someone like myself can literally just run through this for you, no problem with credentials. But that's, again, a conversation to be had with an appointment. And then, so what I kind of like to talk about now is troubleshooting, or what to do if you get like a my SIGIS is out of date message, because that's kind of a lot of the things that we get in our world, where it's like, hey, my list hasn't been updated in 45 days or 1,000 days, or whatever the number is that you're seeing. Now, you'll only see it when you first start a Paladin for the first time on that machine. So when you get that message, I would encourage you to call our customer support and let them know you're getting a SIGIS error message, say it hasn't been updated. And what they'll do is they'll get you set up, they'll get you on a list, so to speak, for an appointment, and then we'll contact you and we'll basically get to the bottom of it. So we'll have to find out if your SIGIS is up to date. We'll have to find out if
secure connection.
Right, exactly, the key gen. So there's two keys, one for Paladin and one for SIGIS. What we basically do is create those keys, put information in Paladin, and then send the other information off to your SIGIS website. Those two keys connect the whole process. So basically attaches your Paladin to your SIGIS. And that's what causes the upload or the secure transfer protocol, which is the automation of SIGIS in your Paladin. And I can actually show you in Paladin real quick what that page looks like, or where that's all filled out. Let's get out of there.
Maybe explain what APL is and what the eligible product list.
So the eligible product list is a federally regulated list of about 76,000 flex eligible items, such as Band-Aids, diabetic strips. It even goes as far as some prescriptions. But it's a big giant list that tells your pharmacy system what's acceptable and what's not. So if you go to the register and you've got Band-Aids and candy, well, the Band-Aids might be covered through your Flex card, but the candy won't. So the list is pertaining to just Flex eligible items. That list is updated in Paladin once we automate it and the whole system is fine-tuned. Should update about every 24 to 30 days. There are some caveats to that. If your computer shut down for the night, if Paladin is logged out, there's a couple of things that may lengthen that time between when it updates. So those are some things to look out for. So if you're getting an error message that says you haven't been updated, what you can try here in Paladin is you go up to Maintain and to Utilities, and then Pharmacy Utilities. That should be available for any admin in the system, so pharmacy manager, pharmacy owners, trusted friends and colleagues, that kind of thing. And then you do Import SIGIS EPL. Now, when you click that, at the bottom left-hand corner of Paladin, you will see a loading bar, kind of similar to the update Paladin does. It's a little green bar that says Updating. If you do not see that when you click that EPL, then we'll need to get in there and find out why it's not automated. So it could be credentials, it could be a bad key, it could be all of which are easy fixes, but we need to get in there and figure out why it's not doing it, because if it's not working, you guys can't make money, and we're all about making money. Okay, so Pharmacy tab. So if we go up to Setup, now if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Pharmacy tab, you'll see here SIGIS has its own section. Now the SIGIS FTP site is this one specifically. So it's EPL SFTP. That stands for Eligible Product List Secure File Transfer Protocol is what that stands for. Then it's .sigis.org. That will stay the same. At least that's what it is at the time of this recording. But the knowledge base will have it updated in addition to your SIGIS login. When you log into SIGIS at the very bottom, it'll tell you what this actually is when you go to do it. It may change, but for now, this is what it is. Your username could be an email. Most of the time I've seen lately where it says FTP and then a name. So for example, use Alma, for example. Theirs might be FTP Alma Pharmacy, as a username example. That's not their username, but that's just an example. Now, the keys. We have to generate 2 keys. One is for SIGIS that gets uploaded, and then one gets loaded into Paladin. So they're basically pointed at each other, so Paladin knows where to go and what to communicate when getting your EPL. So that's kind of the nutshell of the Paladin side of things.
One thing you should stress is that this is something that's automated. You guys do this 100%. You handhold them through this process. So even though he was showing you kind of the back end, this is something that if you log in with the case and set an appointment, these guys get on the phone with you, they're going to do this for you and with you.
Right.
And you're not left up to your own devices here. They're going to walk you through the process.
Exactly. The perfect world situation when we start a SIGIS from even the beginning, from the time you become a Paladin customer or you're a Paladin veteran, what we would like to see happen, at least in the SIGIS department, is we would get login credentials from you, and we can log in. We can do all the filling out of the form from you, and basically we get all the other miscellaneous information like your address and your email and stuff from your profile here at Paladin, which should be all up to date. And if we have any concerns, we have no problem reaching out to you and getting updated information. We do not fill, submit, or approve without 100% confidence that it is correct and good to go, because if it's not, as soon as it hits SIGIS or Vantiv, they're going to kick it back and it's going to be denied, and we don't want to delay the process for you guys whatsoever. So from the time we get login credentials, we go in, we fill out the form, we jump onto our side of things, we double check all the information. Usually there's one more person that double checks it. That way it's kind of like proofreading your own writing. You may run over the same grammatical error twice, but if someone else looks at it. So that's the theory. So we get a couple sets of eyes on the situation when doing the actual certification to make sure it's correct. Then what we do is then we send it off and we follow up with it, and we will let you know where it's at, what the time frames are, and what to look out for. So when all these emails are being sent back and forth, we have our own department of Vantiv, so we can get in touch with them if we need any more information. But once it goes from Vantiv to MasterCard and Visa, all of us are kind of just hanging out waiting for that 2 to 3 week delay process. But that's the home stretch. So that's what we push for and strive for, as fast as we can, but as thorough as possible. So
any questions?
Do we have any questions at all? Any concerns? Hang on. How do we get new OTC products added to the SIGIS list? So that's a great question. So let me go ahead and jump into Paladin real quick, and I'll actually show you how to do that real quick. So that goes back to the eligible product list. So that would be file setup, and if you don't have access to this, an admin in Paladin should. So that would be, I apologize, wrong one. So we want maintain, utilities, pharmacy utilities, import SIGIS EPL. That will download the most current up-to-date product list, including those OTC items that you'll be searching for. Now, if for whatever reason you do click on this button and you don't get a loading bar at the bottom, there is a whole nother way to do it on the website, but if you do hit that barrier, I would encourage you to call us here on the support lines. That way someone can help you through that process, because it's a little hard to explain on a webinar. But Paladin should be your first go-to.
One thing, why don't you show them in inventory how they can actually add their own compounded medications that might be approved for EPL, which just haven't yet been. And so if you go into inventory,
yeah,
and bring up an item, you can show them the actual.
Do you have a database or?
Yeah, just do 10111 or something.
10.
This isn't a pharmacy item, but it's good enough. No. Just look for anything.
Well, you have a.
Yeah, it's okay though. Just go to advanced lookup.
Yeah.
Just pull up anything.
Aspirin.
Yep.
There we go. And what are you referring to specifically?
On the order control, pricing. There it is. So they can identify flex items by a checkbox.
So, exactly. So you have the ability here in Paladin to mark something as flex. So let's say you talked to a rep or somebody that, or your vendor and says, hey, this should be on the flex list. You can mark that specific item for flex even before the list is downloaded. Now, you'll always want to make sure that list is updated, because they may have beat you to the punch. They're pretty good about getting it updated.
Yeah, and there actually is a process for this, and you can check with SIGIS. You will need to, if it's a new invented concoction that you want to be approved, you can send that in and submit that to SIGIS, and then they will add it to the list if it qualifies.
Exactly.
But this is a kind of an override. You have an ability here to set up a flex item. We give you full rights as an administrator of the system to identify items as flex or not.
Exactly. Yeah, but if you have any questions as far as flex eligible specific stuff, I would honestly email help, HELP, at sigis.org. They've got a wonderful staff there that responds pretty quick. So that's kind of where I'd start. So that kind of wraps up SIGIS in a nutshell, if you will. It goes a little bit further than that, but I just want to stress enough. It is important. We do have your back. We just got to know about it so we can help you out. So do we know what topic is next?
No, but there'll be a webinar on Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
Perfect. All right, guys. So the next webinar is going to be next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, I don't have the information yet, and that would be Pacific Standard Time. I want to thank you guys for showing up. If you have any questions, just please call support, and we'll help you out.